Okay, iPads away, please. As they say, our last but not least, or we've saved the best for last, depending on how you look at it. Thanks, Aaron, for being our last one. Go ahead.
So, I'm Aaron Nagao. So, this is my POL for the fall semester. So, I chose option B, which was to select 5 books and 5 different skills from each of those. The skills I chose were focus, understanding of circuits, rotational motion, organization, and perseverance. My books were Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief, The Unbroken, The Maze Runner, Eragon, Inheritance, and So the first skill I chose was focusing. I find that focusing in class is sort of hard for me, and that's why I related to Percy Jackson, because literally the first thing they do mention in the book is that Percy has a hard time in school, and it's mostly because he's ADHD and has a hard time focusing. And I think it really exemplifies how a lot of people can't focus and the challenges that people have at school. So this relates to my first article, which is the Civil War Silhouette. I think for this, because it took a lot of focus and coordination with my teammate, which was the other Aaron, to actually get this done. And to be fair, during the last day or so, which was really the most important because we were pasting everything onto the paper already, I was absent, so it was sort of crucial that I keep in contact with him and see what's going on. My second skill was organization, and I have to say I have the worst organization in the class, I think, because I can't keep anything organized, and even my handwriting's a mess. And I have a hard time with that. So I chose the last book in the Eragon series, which was Inheritance, because in the end, Eragon has to struggle to bring back order and organization back to the kingdom after he takes over. So the second article I chose was a whiteboard sketch from STEM, because I think it's the neatest I've ever written in class, and that's pretty bad. So the third one I had was current/charge and flow, or just electrical circuits in general. So when I went into MPX, I had no idea how this worked or what to do, and it was really feet first into this. So the book I compared it to was The Maze Runner, because Thomas, the protagonist, is thrown into an unknown situation for no reason at all, and he can't remember anything, and he has to really figure everything out on the fly. Video for this. So this was part of the electrical circuit, and this was our finished one I did with Patrick. So we actually figured out how to do the circuit or set up the remote battery like this, and I think it was pretty good because it didn't take us that long, maybe 30 minutes. My fourth skill was perseverance, because I feel that I need to really stick to things. I don't have the hang of that yet, but I think I improved over the year with that. And the book I chose was Unbroken. So the story is that a former Olympian, Louis Zamperini, is captured by the Japanese and he's tortured in a POW camp. And they aim to break him first because he's an Olympian and everyone in the camp is looking up to him. And he doesn't break, hence the title. And for this, I chose the Descels graph because I did not like Descels at all. I couldn't figure it out at first, and it was sort of confusing. But eventually, with this article, I figured out how to at least do the house, but I'm still having problems with the actual drawing. The last skill I chose was rotational motion, because I think it's one that I also had no idea what to do with. So this ties in with our bike and also our bike project. And the book I chose for this was The Alchemist, because two of the protagonists, they really have to figure out how things work, because they've been out of the loop in civilization for thousands of years, so they don't know anything modern day works. And this is one of my pictures from K-Vibe with my group. So I think in conclusion, I really liked this year, and all my skills I had were adequately demonstrated. So to recap, I had perseverance, organization, focus, mechanical circuits, and mechanical motion. I feel that I learned a lot from this because didn't really have anything like MPX at my old school, and it was really something new and something foreign to me. I feel like now that I know more about it, I can really excel next semester and next year in general. I think that's it.
Let's see, that was 6 minutes. Okay, gives us more time to ask you questions.
Perfect.
Cameron?
What do you find your most important skill this year you've learned, and also what do you feel like, how hard was actually, scratch that question, this is my question. How hard was it for you to adapt from the method of learning at your old school, which I'm sure was standard, into MPX as you're a new student this year?
Standard was a lot more straightforward, like you just listen to a lecture and then you take a test. This was more group-oriented work, and I needed to figure out how to work with my group mates and how to really adapt to group environment.
Got it. Thank you.
Other Aaron?
What was the hardest thing you found about putting together this presentation?
Definitely looking at what I could do and what I did, because I'm not a very reflective person, and I really don't think about anything after it's done, and I really don't like talking about myself, so.
Again.
Am I done?
I've got a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
I'm interested in your organization comment. And in particular, you gave us the example, I think, of the silhouette as your organization. Was that the one that you said? What did you use for your organization? What was your artifact?
The STEM whiteboard.
Oh, the STEM whiteboard, that's right. So I'm wondering, and I know this is true for a lot of students, so maybe you can help us think about this for your own self, is what do you think we can be doing more of to help you develop better organizational habits of mind or skills? Is there anything we've done this year that you thought, well, if we did more of that, that would help me get better at being organized?
I think it's just a me thing. That's just me in general. I don't think you guys can really help me on that. It's something I need to do.
So let me push you a little bit harder on that. So what do you think you need to do? What could you change, or what do you think you can work on to help you with that?
Definitely one of the factors is time management, but I wanted to go over that, but Ms. Davis strictly said we couldn't go over time management at all.
Oh, on your presentation. Yeah.
Apparently everyone used that last year.
It is the hard part of project-based learning sometimes.
Time management.
I also had a question about your focus. We're still in presentation. So again, I want to think about like your organization. What do you think has helped you the most in this class that has given you focus on your work during class time?
My teammates, because they're constantly jabbing me to actually focus, because it's not only my grade that's on the line. If I don't focus, it's their grade too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of like a mix of prodding me on and guilt tripping me.
No,
I like to mess up my group.
Okay, fair enough.
No, go.
And the last question I've got for you is, for your skills, what is something that you didn't put on here that either you wished you had put on or you thought, oh, I don't need to put that on because of blank, and why did you choose not to include it?
Time management, because Ms. Davis said we couldn't.
And so that's for you something you really want to work on next semester. So is that maybe something that for all of us is something we can have a conversation about what are our strategies to do that?
Yeah.
And maybe figure out ways that we can maybe start in class every day to maybe leverage that and work on it?
Yeah.
Because I know that's, time management and organization are two skills coming out of our program next year, or when you go to next year, that I think are ones that you want to feel confident about, that you know how to use your time well, and that you know how to organize your work well. So let's push me at the beginning of January to figure out how do we be more explicit about doing that. So I think that's important. Okay, thank you, Aaron. Okay, so.